gentlemen, making their way back in. Plenty of seats down the front for all the rebel rousers are. And there are some people who have left some of their technology in the other room. So if you're a speaker or doing a demo out there, just make sure that before you go, you see young Paul from Tas Networks, who I must rescind my earlier comment from yesterday, is the IT person here today, but at Tas Networks, after the vigorous conversations, he's now unemployed. When he drew reference to that tower over there being a thing of beauty, I thought, he's got to go. Ex-marketing manager of Aurora behind him thinking, how can I bill everybody in Tasmania? Just 2 cents a kilowatt. Oh, that's all I want. Anybody left out there? So just a reminder about the IT that's left in the other room and some surplus hardware, some chargers. Obviously, you need to carry 20 or 30 in your car when you go out of Australia. I must say, what a great thing this has been for me. When Christopher, who gets me in to do, well, I've done 2-litre openings, a bit of RSPCA work, some tomatoes and garlic. This would be the pinnacle of it all, I have to say that. I've had an interest in alternative technology and homes and energy efficiency pretty much all of my life, and to actually have been asked to come and talk to you and meet so many of you and have so many nice things said to me. Well, not all of what was nice, but most of it, I'm still okay in my circle. Yeah, it's been a real delight. So, and then to meet people like Rob Manson and many of you speakers, and Ed, who's just about to rescind. I don't think we gave him the recognition in this room, but Ed, this is his last time as president of AEVA, and he'll be handing over to a suitably qualified person who's also 30 like Ed after a few years in the role. That's what happens to you. And how great to see the support of our sponsor C&W, you know, Australia's largest electrical wholesaler, the last one left that's Australia made. And I know that there's not this big xenophobic, Hansenophobic thing happening in this room, but if we can still support Australian people and give them jobs to our children, then it makes sense to do that in electricity. Yeah, throw that university banner away, Paul. Are you going to take that home with you tonight, Carmen?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all right. We know that you've got $445 million worth of works coming up. What's a $97 banner? So for those of you who haven't been to Tasmania's university, as you come down in the next few years, it's going to have a major transformation, and I really hope that it heralds the start of our clever island, because obviously we've got some ground to make up, and it was great to hear the banter between the states, you know, and we've got to beat South Australia. Obviously we've lost it in New Zealand again. Don't mention South Australia, so, you know. So I'm very honoured and very pleased to have been here. Some of the great questions that could pass as monologues for, I don't know what they could pass for monologues on, group think and wisdom. And really, I suppose that's probably been the highlight for me, the lady who walked up to me a minute ago who said, I've been involved in this all of my life, and I've learned something this weekend. And that if you guys can be learning off each other, I think they call that exponential learning, where the history, the knowledge, the combined passion, and all of your years of experience are adding up. And I think that if we look back in 10 years' time, what a different world it would be. It must be frustrating, be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it burned down real quick, so that's all the people doing it themselves, right? So another lady approached us, a lady called Rebecca Lee, and she's doing the electrical vehicle expo in Melbourne, so we thought we'd give her a couple of minutes to do a shout out just to us all while we're all here. And she's got some people she's looking for. Welcome, Rebecca.
Thanks so much, John. And thanks AEVA for having a brilliant weekend. I'm sorry I only just got here this morning, but it's been wonderful. I know a few of you have attended before, will attend again our Electric Vehicle Expo in Melbourne. We're scaling up. It's our 5th event this year. We're moving out. We've outgrown Swinburne. It was great to have it at the university, and it was quite a young audience of students while we held it there, but 3,500 people in that sort of space is too tight, and we really want to grow to 10,000 people. We're really focused on getting the masses in to try it out. We feel that as soon as people actually sit their bum on an electric bike or get behind the steering wheel of a instant 100% torque vehicle, which I'm sure we all here know the benefits of, but it's once you try it, you're sold. So that's our focus. We're running the event at a go-kart track this year. So it's going to be all about the trying it, and there's a car dedicated area, there's a small vehicle dedicated area, so they're separate on the track. There'll be demos once, maybe twice an hour of specialist vehicles on the track. So I'm really super excited. I'm on the organising team. I was the main driver when we started the event. I'm trying to take a back seat, but I'm still too enthusiastic. I just want to put it out there for anyone who will be attending and can contribute something. We're seeking speakers. So I know there's been a fabulous long list, and I'll probably contact each and every one of you to say, would you be interested in coming and speaking at our event as well? We're interested in vehicles, especially the ultra creative ones for our show and shine competition. And we have all different categories for that, small through to large vehicles. And we're also interested in sponsorship and exhibitors. So if anyone wants to even just hand me a business card if we don't get a chance to speak over the weekend, I will follow up with you.
Dates?
Sorry?
Dates? What time? When?
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. It's February the 18th, Sunday, February the 18th. So the hours are 9 until 4:30. We're looking to have a networking event the night before on the Saturday afternoon after setup. So, and it's 5 kilometres or so from the city centre as well. So it's a very handy location to town, and we're looking to we'll most likely be having an electric shuttle bus from Southern Cross Station. So that's a little secret I probably shouldn't have let out just yet. We hope so if you have an electric bus. Alright, so thanks so much for giving me a chance to speak. And yeah, come and speak to me if you want more details, or give me a card, I'll follow up. Thank you.
We've got some homework, of course. You know, I thought to myself when Christopher said, come along, I kind of think about what I'm going to say at the end, and then take on everything that I've heard and seen this weekend, and then regurgitate it. So I'll regurgitate it this way. We're all pretty much ignorant until we're enlightened, and you are the enlightened. How you spread that message, if you all got 2 or 3 or 5 other people who don't know anything about it, get them along to next year's conference, pump it up on your Facebook walls, get out there and get social, put the posters up in the shop. This is a message that needs to spread, and I'll tell you why. Who's read Buckminster Fuller's book? Me too, when I was about 14. Did I think that the world's energy, you only got page 26 into it? I thought, geez Lord, give me that Tesla book. So, you know, when the world's energy grid is one energy grid, you're all talking about it already. Cars and buses pumping back in the grid, you're the future, and you're in the now, so that's really important. I was going to say to you, mark today in your diary, because that's where you're at. The big news is, of course, as a species, we're about to become multi-planetary. Now, I know for some of you who are older than me, and there's only a couple of in your room, Ted, obviously, you know, did we ever think in our lifetime that we would inhabit other planets? In 19 years we've been on the International Space Station continuously. 19 years. By the way, they had a non-binding vocal plebiscite on the other day, and the results came back in. I just thought I'd share this early. No more sauerkraut for the Russians. Okay, so it's all about the homework. Please welcome Christopher Walton.
Thank you, John. How do I talk into a microphone? I don't know how to do this. So, let's see. So, first thing is ride share into the airport. Apparently, some people are taking rides. Meet at the bar. So, I thought I'd go over.
Not the driver.
So, I thought I'd go over the things coming up to make sure everybody's done everything that they would like to do. So, the first thing is the Glenn George Trophy. So for those who don't know, Glenn George drove around Australia in his converted vehicle a little while ago, and so we're doing a trophy, a perpetual trophy for people who have driven a long way to get to AGM each year. And so this year in Tasmania, of course, no Tasmanians will win it. Very special trophy. So it's basically how far have you driven and how much battery does your car have to do that. So somebody driving in a Tesla has a much easier time of going 500 kilometres than somebody in an AEVA. So I've done a calculation to take that into account, and also the age of the battery. Now, I need to know how to scroll. Didn't figure out how to scroll. And so, for instance, there's an example there of 500 kilometres in a Leaf gives you 21 points, whereas in a Tesla 100 there it gives you 5 points. Which is a good thing, you don't even have to charge it, a Tesla 100. So, we have lots of rules which are very complicated. And to enter, so anybody who has come to this well, technically it's tomorrow to the car show, but basically to Devonport, driven only on electric. A hybrid can technically enter, but only if they're driven only on electric. So you go from the last time you did your petrol entry. The entry is on the website here, so you put in these things and it puts you on this map. So we'll have this map tomorrow at the CMAX, the cinema presentation that we're doing. And so you can see here, we've only got a couple of entrants from Tasmania. It'd be really good for everybody to enter just to be put on this map, even if you know you're not going to win. Put yourself on the map.
Do you have a handicap for the electric bikes that are from home?
Yeah. Electric bikes are hybrid, so as long as they did not use their pedals. Yes, you enter and you go on the thing here, and it'd be really impressive to show everybody tomorrow that we had this many people from all over Australia, well, at least this part of Australia.
Chris, how big is West Australia? Where is it?
Over there.
It's not on the map.
Yeah, but you didn't drive there.
So, no, exactly. So you have to register to be on here. Yeah, so there is one person who's come from Perth. They need to register. So, yes, so it's 5 o'clock tonight. If you don't have internet access, come and see me or Zara, who's not here, my wife. I've clued her up on how to put them in. Basically, you just need internet access. Yeah. So that was the Glen George Trophy. Next thing is...
Where will it be presented?
Sorry?
Where will it be presented, did you say?
At the next thing that we're doing now. So, tomorrow we've got the Shannon's Insurance electric vehicle display. And so that's at Roundhouse Park in Devonport. Do I have a map here? Yes, I do. So here we are here at the Roundhouse Park. So right next door to downtown Devonport.
Opposite McDonald's.
No, the pub. No, it's opposite the pub.
Too many pubs, there's only one McDonald's. Yeah,
The Yellow Nail. It's opposite the Yellow Nail Hotel. Where all the cars are.
Yes, that's right. So, in your EV Fest brochure, pamphlet-y thing, there's a double page thing in there on how to, on the times and so on that you need. Here we go. I told myself I was going to look at this and then it didn't bring it. So, anybody can come from 10 till 2 and we're free entry, and so we've been advertising on the radio and so on, so hopefully hundreds of people will come along. We have to get our vehicles there before it opens at 10, so we've said that exhibitors' vehicles can arrive between 8 o'clock and 9:30, so please arrive by 9:30. We don't want to run over any of the public as they arrive. There's a particular way you have to get there. You've got to go. It's not a one-way street, but you can only enter from one side. So get your thing here again. If you don't have one of these, ask us. It's got a map on there, tells you to drive around these streets and come in.
Thank you.
So you've got to be hitting one out. So it says that.
Yeah, just go around and come down there. So, okay, so that's right. So that's from 10 till 2. And so what we've been telling the public is to come early and look at the cars, and then at 12:30, come along to CMAX Cinema. So at CMAX Cinema, which is just over the road there, you can see we've got a public forum on. And so Penny's going to be doing a presentation. We're going to have political parties. All 3 major political parties in Tasmania have been invited to present their... They're going to present their policies to do with electric vehicles and how their policies will affect electric vehicles in Tasmania, if they've thought about it at all. And so then after that, we're going to have a Q&A session so that people can ask the politicians all the nasty questions. I'm sure you've been practicing up.
And speakers as well.
Oh, we're having some speakers as well? Good. I haven't been involved with that very much so far.
We haven't asked anybody specifically, but you'll get asked tomorrow morning if you're hanging around the EV show. We don't know
So also on tomorrow is the, it's Remembrance Day tomorrow. So just up from here is the the centre, just up here on Victoria Parade somewhere. It'll be further on. I looked it up, it's about 600 metres from the end of Roundhouse Park here. And so our events have been timed so that you can go to Remembrance Day. And hopefully lots of people coming to Remembrance Day will stop in and have a look at the cars as they go past. Okay, so, yes, and so because it's Friday and car wash doesn't necessarily open tomorrow, make sure you get cars washed. True, that's correct. Yes, so we have an actual trophy for the Glen George Trophy, and that will be awarded at the CMAX. As will the, we've got two competitions with Cradle Mountain Wilderness Village has given us an accommodation package. So somebody who is going to the Cradle Mountain Charge will win their accommodation as well, so that'll be announced at the same time. Okay, after that, so the reason that goes from 10 till 2 is so that we can fit in the AGM, the AEVA AGM after that. And so after that, there's some AEVA meetings. Again, all the details are in that brochure.
Christopher, what time does the CMAX finish?
2. So the car show and the CMAX finishes at the same time.
There are some riders coming from further on the coast.
Yes, that's a good point. Riders can arrive at any time, so car exhibitors need to get there by 9:30, but riders can come in because they're probably not going to crash into anything. Well, not going to run anybody over anyway. Crash into somebody. Yeah. So the next day is Sunday, which is what we've all been waiting for, the Cradle Mountain Charge. The Mitsubishi Motors Cradle Mountain Charge, sorry. So I thought I'd say about this, so hopefully everybody who's going to this knows all about it because they've studied everything that I've written. If not, the first group thing that we're doing starts at Sheffield. So make your own way to Sheffield at any time that you feel comfortable to then leave Sheffield at 11:15. So we have lots of charging in Sheffield. We have capacity for about 18 15-amp power points at the place that we're going, which is the Sheffield Steam and Heritage Centre. We've got a steam train there, as well as a 3-phase outlet, which we hope to have hooked up to a fast charger. If we don't have it hooked up to a fast charger, then we've got enough. We've got 22 15-amp outlets. There's also some 3-phases dotted around the town, so we should be able to charge you up there. Yes, and the new charger at Sheffield, which Kentish Council have put in, I assume, just because we're doing the Cradle Mountain Charge. And so that's currently the best charger in Tasmania. You can charge the most number of cars there from points that were put in dedicated to electric cars.
2.
3? 2. Yep. The best other one is probably Andrews, which has 2.
This new charger at Sheffield, what sort of funds does it cost?
Yeah, so we have 2 universal chargers with Mennekes outputs, and there are 2 charging cables, so we can charge a Tesla and a Mennekes, type 2, so Outlander or a Leaf.
All know what that means now. All wait till that talk.
Yeah. Good. So once we get to Sheffield, we arrive between 7:30 and 10:30, and then we've got some little things on there. We've got an opening, and we've got driver's briefing, and so you'll learn everything you need to know as long as
Breakfast, Christopher.
Yes, good point. So there's a breakfast on at the Sheffield Steam and Heritage Centre, $30. So when you booked for the Cradle Mountain Charge, you paid $30, and what that included was lunch at Gowrie Park, which is the next stop after Sheffield, and canapes at the at Cradle Mountain at a reception once we get up there. We then decided, hey, what if we want breakfast? And so we've done another thing where you could pay another $30 and register yourself for a breakfast. So the Sheffield Steam and Heritage Centre, which is a museum in Sheffield, all run by volunteers, would like to make some money out of us. And so they put on a nice big breakfast. And for $30 you get the breakfast, you get a ride on the steam train, which should be able to do a couple of trips while we're there. and all the electricity is up. If you don't book the breakfast steam train electricity, then please put a donation in the tin for your electricity. Now, there's enough room for 28 people. Apparently, they've got enough food for 28 people. We've got about 20 at the moment. So if you'd like that and you haven't let me know, there's a sheet of paper out on the table out there. Write your name down on there. So when we go along, so you'll learn everything you need to know at Sheffield. We have a very comprehensive driver's briefing there.
When is the driver's briefing?
That is at 10:30 there. So yeah. So that's why you need to get there before 10:30. So within that 3/4 of an hour, we have the driver's briefing and the other formal stuff.
And what time is the breakfast? What's the range of time for the breakfast?
So the breakfast is from 8:30, and they don't want everybody at once because it's only fairly small. But they'll be, sorry, at 8 o'clock, wasn't it? It says something. 8 till 10:30, yes. Bottomless coffee. Now, on the way, we've got all these legs, and we've got some Ignite Digi, which are a professional film company with drones and cameras on the cars and all sorts of things, are going to be doing photography all the way up there. So they'll be having cameras on tripods next to the road in certain strategic places. In a driver's briefing, we'll say, make sure you don't turn your petrol engine on over this bit because it will sound really terrible, and don't go too fast and so on. But and at one stage we have to stop and let them go past. So we're sort of doing it for the film crew to get a really nice video out of this.
It's got to be better than Norway.
Exactly. So part of this is that they'd like close-ups of a couple of key vehicles, and so what they'll do is at each of the stops, so at Sheffield, Gowrie Park and Cradle Mountain, they'll take a vehicle, and so the person driving that vehicle will be mic'd up with a radio, and they'll be talking to the vehicle behind them with the camera in. They have cameras mounted on the vehicle so they can go behind them and watch them go up and down and so on. And they can tell you, okay, drive down through there, and they'll take the video as you're driving, and then they'll tell you, just stop up there and go around and so on. So we need some volunteers with cars. And so what we decided was, and good listening skills, not only a back seat driver, it'd be the car behind driver telling you what to do. So what we decided was that we would concentrate on vehicles that are currently available for the public to purchase. And so it's sponsored by Mitsubishi Motors, and so we'll have one of the new Outlanders. So we'll choose one person in one of the new Outlanders. So Mitsubishi bring 2 of them, so we'll have one of those. The other 2 we decided, because we've got 3 stops, is an i3, BMW i3, and a Tesla. One of the 2 that is available. Nobody bought a Roadster. So, we'd like some volunteers. Does anybody have an i3 or a Tesla who would particularly like to be filmed in great detail? So it needs to be clean. And so, very the car wash. So come and see us. We need a couple of volunteers. That is all that I have to say. Over to Penny.
Can I just
sorry.
make a small mention? There's a foot race on over Mount Roland and that when you're just before Gowrie Park. There could be 400 people running along just before Claude Road. So,
do you happen to know what time that's doing that?
Well, they'll be running past there in that 11 o'clock onwards.
Great drone footage.
Good time.
If we're showing the EVs mowing down the road, it's all cold, car runs over
Figure out exactly when that is. We did look that up on time.
Pedestrians have to be wide.
Any other questions?
Yes, so cars have to be still between 10 and 2. And really they should be moved more or less straight after that. There's free parking straight over the road. And so what I was thinking, for people who need to, the next meeting starts at 3 o'clock and it's a 100-metre walk away. So the idea is that those people can move their cars over to the car park and then go to the meeting. If they would like somebody else to move them, that might also be an option.
What's the gradient steepest?
Steepest, so the most...
Rattle down and said that way, it's not the steepest.
Yeah, so the most... So I don't know of the actual gradient, but
Mayor would know.
along here is where it is. So we start out here at about 400 metres, I think, Eric, something like that. And we go down very close to sea level.
Yeah.
And then we go back up again.
Yeah.
And so that's the worst bit right there.
Be 10%.
Yeah.
It's all hairpin bends down and then up the other side of the Ford River.
Pay attention. Watch out for runners.
Yeah.
Then you'll get really good gin and I'm coming back.
Yeah, that's it.
Chris, in the brochure, it says that the restaurant at Cradle Mountain is closed on a Sunday. Will it be open Sunday night?
In the Cradle Mountain, in a brochure for
From Cradle Mountain?
from Cradle Mountain, yes, they're open for us on the Sunday, and they're also open for breakfast. They don't always open for breakfast.
It is one of the world's greatest restaurants too. If it's actually open, it's easily one of the best meals in Australia.
It's a good format too. They bring it out in small portions so you can taste lots of different things.
And check out the wine cellar too if you're not driving. It's really impressive.
John, that's it.
Christopher, I'm not sure. Are we going to do our group convention photograph out the front here with the water background?
I think we should do that.
Is that something we're going to do? I'm
it.
just making sure you don't forget.
There is a way to drive off Roundhouse Park and with the marshal will show you how, yes.
I've just been there as a suggestion that I quite like, and it looked at the photo from the newsletter. There's an old petrol station near Discovery Park. Can we park all the electric cars in front and sort of get the future of EVs? Dead petrol station.
There's a bit of, for people who are not going to the first meeting, there's a bit of time there that you could do things like that, couldn't you? So yes, feel free to organise that. That sounds like a great idea.
That's in Tarleton Street.
It's a breakout session, that one.
Well, now you can see why it's been such a brilliant conference. Now, I did in fact mention at the beginning when I first spoke on the yesterday morning, since I don't know, Chris and Clive were the two leaders that got all this happening. We're halfway through, and we're thinking about the second half now to come. I want to tell you about some of the other people who've been helping, because it takes a team, or even a family almost, you might say, to get all this happening and all these documents prepared and so on. So I particularly want to acknowledge Geordie Hargraves and her partner Shane. Geordie did a lot of And then there was a group of people who just helped in all sorts of ways. John Handy down the back, who also helped today. Can't see Ray. Oh, where's Ray? See, there he is. Ray Johnson, who also presented today. Peter Freeman, who's usually sitting somewhere down the back. Yes, there he is, right down the back. Charles Gregory, who's near the video camera. And then another husband and wife team, Penny and Michael Watsey. Well, I don't want to single out people too much because it's been such a team effort. I just want to tell you, though, that Michael organised the beautiful Ben George Perpetual Trophy, and that car with a lump of spodumene in it. And Michael was a geochemist, I think I'm saying that correctly, and that helped him discover, have that idea and make it. Doesn't it look beautiful? Some lucky person tomorrow is going to be the custodian of it. So I think it's been an absolutely brilliant conference. I hope you do too. We've learnt so much, and the atmosphere's been terrific, partly because of you, John Harris. You've done a brilliant job. Talking to somebody in the last day or so made the point how AEVA is a bit special in all sorts of ways, but one way in particular because we don't have a lot of people who are, I don't know, power hungry and egotistical, which you do see in some organisations, which drive you insane if you have the misfortune to be
also involved, as I obviously have been in the past. But the nice feeling in this group is that we are actually all so concerned about things which are actually external to us in some respect. We're concerned about the world, when we go all the way, because that's what climate change is behind all this legal that we're all talking about. So it's so nice to have that sense of shared commitment amongst a diverse group of people. We've had the most wonderful range of speakers, people from the mainland, people from overseas who are living here now, we can talk our accents, they weren't born in Australia, and it's just been absolutely brilliant. So rather than me trying to pick out everyone, I'm going to invite some people from the audience to make a couple of comments. I'm going to start with Pauline Parrish, who's down the back. She's Penny, and Pauline, that's what you Penny's got very confused.
I'm just about the newest member of this organisation, and I'm just so excited to belong. I was motivated to come with my son talking about it because I think I said we've gone up to Launceston to look for some hempcrete because it had such a low carbon emission and blah blah blah. And then we discovered to get it to here this far, and Launceston was a bit more hopeless was impossible because it happened to do it by truck, which seemed so extremely silly and counterproductive. So that's how it ought to be here. But having arrived here, it's just awestruck about your vision of the world. And I'm a member of a reconciliation group that's been working in Hobart for a long time, trying to respect weddings and the like, and to hear about the ferries was just wonderful. I'm a member of a peace group, and we solemnly protest every second Thursday about war and the causes of war, and the whole of last century, war was about petrol. And I hope you remember that on the 11th of November, that again was fighting for resources in the Near East, where bloody slow learners. And Penny reminded me, it's not just that people are actually dying so that we can drive petrol cars, which is a horrible thing to think about when you go to the north. But all we do,
just hold them up and close it.
all we do with the petrol when we get it is burn it. And Penny was reminding me that there are so many useful things that petrol can do, and we don't even think about processing in those ways. So I hope in Queensland next year we perhaps might find somebody who's put in a little bit of research on positive petrol. I'm not quite persuaded that it's true, but I'm persuaded. So all I can say, I have met this weekend a most wonderful group of people who've got this extraordinary attitude of just try. If it fails, it doesn't matter. It's the try, it's the giving it a go, and knowing that you have made a difference. And I hope you all sleep as well as you deserve tonight.
And of course it's the oil, all the products of oil, which is so much more important than being burnt.
Thanks, Penny. I rode up here with Clive and Jack and many others, particularly Jack Gilpin. Where's Jack? Everyone should give this man a huge round of applause. He put up with us very, very wayward cats, and he herded us all the way from Hobart on e-bikes, 376 kilometres all the way up here. And we had some wonderful times as we did it. We saw the wonderful tiers in the farmland. We let the kids at Mersey High School ride our bikes, and we didn't really discover till I went around the back that they were almost crashing them and doing all sorts of things, but we managed to survive that. And we got 5, I think, mares to ride electric bikes, some of them quite wobbly for a little while, and gained a bit of PR for the thing. But my abiding memory from that ride is actually one Neville Badcock, who is just over here. Neville's 87, perhaps not in the absolute best of health, but he's been an inventor and an adventurer all his life. And he's made many electric bikes. His current one has cruise control, regen braking. It's held together with bits of string and imagination mostly. But what he didn't tell me was, and I got a hint of this on the ride because I was following people, and we were about half a K behind, and Neville gave me a cheeky grin and said, better try and catch up. And so I started out pumping away. You can only get 25.5 kilometres an hour on an e-bike. And then there was this whooshing sound. Neville just went whoop, straight past me and straight up the hill past everyone else. Had this sly little grin on his face. The bike may not technically actually be legal, but he assures me it only went 25 kilometres an hour. So that got us here. But the other side of it, I guess, is there's a whole lot of inventors around the place. And I met a younger version of Neville in Cameron Ashton's rather astounding looking recumbent electric. Where's Cameron? Yeah. Cameron decided to wing it in his presentation, and I took notes because it was so interesting. He likes to look from the intergalactic to the subatomic. I think we all like to do that. He's fearless of criticism, and this is a useful thing. That's the only way you're going to learn. He has a $1,000 car policy. I don't know how that's going to go with the Teslas of the world, but the $1,000 car policy is you drive it until it catches fire. Now that could work with the old Tesla. No, sorry guys, I didn't mean it, They're much safer than the average ICE vehicle. And he gains joy from near-death experiences. Very like Neville. So, all these wonderful people came to this conference, and I think, yeah, it is wonderful that we can celebrate this level of inventiveness. It's great that that's a strong part of the conference. Other bits of the conference though, Sarah, Roy and Chris's talk, setting the scene, the sort of whole global update, the state-by-state update, the drivers and inhibitors, was interesting, but from an Australian perspective, just a little bit depressing. Sorry about that, but it was very well done. Yeah, and just as I was getting a bit depressed about Norway and how they'd had almost 50% of their cars now electric on the last month of sales, up bounced Steve and D West, particularly D West, who's very bouncy, and to say what was happening across the ditch in New Zealand. And in their irrepressible fashion, they showed what can occur in a short space of time if you push the right levers and if you learn from the experience of others, like Norway. And they've offered to help us in that regard. Now, Tasmania is really just a mini version of New Zealand. You've got the glaciers, we're the glaciers have been. We have a very similar outlook. We don't like the mainland much. It's true. So I reckon if we get you guys over and talk to Clive and everyone, we should be able to move it on quite a step by learning from what New Zealand's done. In the end, I think what I realised is that electric transport is kind of like a wave. Maybe in Australia we're just starting to ripple and form a wave. In other places like Norway, it's like a breaking wave that's coming through. But as I think John said, in 10 years' time when we look back on this, there's going to be so much change. A lot of the cars are going to be electric, and it's going to be a wonderful way that we've helped transform lots and lots of lives. So thanks for everyone who've developed the various surfboards to surf down this wave of electric transport, and for making the EV revolution happen in Australia. Thank you.
This person I asked to speak was remember?
Yes, I'd just like to thank the organisers again for an excellent conference so far, and for the coming events that we're going to be doing. I think the big take-home message I've had, given my focus on charging and things, is there's hope for DC charging. There's something that I've been with at least one lament. I think it's what, 2 Chatamos or 3 Chatamos in Melbourne, and we're lucky compared to the rest of Australia. So we've got hope, except for what in our leaves, but our future DC cars will have it. Thank you again, and looking.
The last organised contributor is Mark Devon.
Thank you for this opportunity. I've really been inspired by the whole conference, and especially by the organisation. It has been brilliant, and thank you to each one of you who contributed. And Chris, a special thank you to you for all the emails, all the follow-ups. My overwhelming experience has been wonderful. We my husband and I toured Tasmania on a tandem bike in 2002. And so our trip to Tasmania from Port Stephens, which is north of Newcastle, was a bit like that planning. We had to plan each step. We charged 24 times between home and here. And some of those were overnight charges, of course. But Walter worked out a spreadsheet, and we had to work out the power that we'd use and the number of kilometres that we could manage each day and where we'd find charging points. Quite a challenge in some places, but most places we received a wonderful reception. So it's been great to hear from the speakers who've talked about charging, care of your battery, and I really enjoyed the Cameron's talk on the bicycle. That was really inspiring. And thank you to all the other speakers who've given us so much. It's been a really special conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, if anybody else would like to say something, it's a free...
If anyone needs a lift to the airport, it's probably got to go fairly soon.
Right.
So just be mindful of that if you're after the 5 o'clock flight.
Okay. Well, we do want to have a team photograph, don't we? So I think the idea was to do it out here. Is that right?
Yeah.
John, are you charging?
I'm not taking the photograph, but somebody with a decent camera should.
Right. Presumably Paul or my camera?
Yeah, can I use that tripod so
Absolutely.
I can get in the photograph?
Right. Why are we flipping it?